Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a
time. Welcome everyone. This is the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new to the podcast series. So this isn't a brand new episode. This is a reprieve episode from last week because I was having technical difficulties. So it appears to be like I was getting distortion and feedback on the last 20 minutes of my podcast. So basically today what I'm doing is just picking up where I left off. But before I do that, I will just, break it down for all people that are brand new listening. Like if you haven't heard of my podcast before and you're just new, came across the platforms just recently, just allow me a brief sec to break it down for you. Okay, so this is the Narrative Podcast. It's called the Narrative Podcast for a reason. It's dedicated to destroying negative Black stereotypes. My tagline is to destroy negative Black stereotypes one episode at a time by providing positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture. So the concept basically is very simple. I destroy the negative stereotypes by providing positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture. This platform is dedicated to highlighting and showcasing all our positive attributes and kind of dispelling what the liberal media or how the liberal media portrays Black people and Black culture. They portray us in a negative light. And so I just provide positive frames of reference about, Black people doing good, being leaders, being good mothers, being good fathers, pillars of the community, not a drain on the resources as, we're painted out to be. So they just, the media projects these distorted negative images about Black people and Black culture. And basically they hyper-criminalize the Black man and hypersexualize the Black woman. So on this platform, I just basically, just play up our strengths. I highlight all our success. What I don't do here is I don't gossip, I don't slander, I don't throw other Black people under the bus. What I do here is speak truth to power, like if one of our brothers or sisters is conducting themselves in such a way where, it reflects poorly on all of us, I will say something in that respect. But other than that, it's all positive over here. So no mudslinging, no tea, no gossip. So the gossip stops here. I do deliver commentary. When I do deliver my commentary, it's from the Black perspective. Like, where are we at in this equation? What's that mean for us? And the reason I do that is because, again, to control the narrative, because the media have us looking and sounding all types of crazy. So again, like I said, this isn't an actual episode. This is just basically picking up where I left off on the previous episode over the weekend because I was having technical difficulties I was getting all types of feedback and distortion, and I checked with my provider, so it wasn't the internet connection. They said it was um, a microphone connection, so they didn't say whether it was mine or on their end. But I'm using the microphone. It's the exact same microphone that I used last weekend, and it's working just fine. I checked it like several times after the broadcast, so it definitely wasn't my microphone. So EQ levels was like set where they were supposed to sit. I don't know. Technology's a mother. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. It's a shame because I was really on a roll. For my last segment was my speaking point, and I was really on a roll. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to bring it like I brought it last weekend. If you're like a when somebody says something impactful, you would have been going the whole time listening to that. But I'm gonna try to recreate that moment. Hopefully I can. Hopefully I can tap into that energy that I'd had last weekend. But if not, it'll just be a quick glaze over of my thoughts about some stuff that has happened recently, and then also leave you with my final thought. Because, like I said, this isn't the full episode. This is just basically picking up where I left off, where all that distortion started on the last episode. And speaking of that, let me take a little precautionary measure, because we're not doing that again. All right, so I just had to take a little backup measure just in case I'm getting some distortion this time around. Hopefully that won't be the case. It's a shame that they don't. There's not some type of software, something where they can tell you if your levels are correct or you're getting feedback. So like, I really never know how my episodes are going to turn out to after they've already been recorded. But anyway, like I said, this is just basically like picking up where I left off over the weekend. Well, I didn't leave off. Like I said, it was just a whole bunch of distortion, a whole bunch of feedback. You couldn't hear the last 20 minutes of my broadcast. All right, so I'm gonna go before I just dive back into where I left off last time. I got enough time because it's not going to be a super long one to break down the format for anybody that may be not, familiar or acquainted with the Narrative Podcast. So basically, I have my podcast divided into sections. So the first section, on a normal broadcast day, I would invite any Black-owned business owners to hit me up for a free promotion. So if you are a Black-owned business owner or know of any Black-owned business owners that would like or need some free promotion for their business product or service, please hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.hosts. And in the subject bar, type promo. And in the body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, your business, your product, and service. So be specific as possible. In the body of the email, tell me as much as you can. Tell me about your business, your product, and your service. Like if you have a physical store location, give me the address, give me the city, state, zip. Um, be specific as possible. If it's like apparel, merchandise, tell me like brands, sizes. If it's food, tell me, um, tell me what the theme of your restaurant is. What kind of food are you serving? Just be specific, like just support all the supportive details that you would need in order to, properly plug your business, product, or service. And then also, please have a brief bio about yourself as well, because it's a proven fact. People purchase items from people that they have a sense of familiarity with. So if they feel they know you, they'll be more apt to purchase something from you. So like, tell me your background story. Tell me about, your education, how you grew up, how did you come to, where, like what stage in your life did it click to, sell this business product or service, like, and then also if your business gives back to the Black community or pays into some type of charity, throw that in as well. So like, just basically anything you would put on a resume or a LinkedIn. Does that make sense? Like, hope it does. I'm just trying to help. The reason why I do that section is basically on the strength of reach one, teach one. I don't want your personal information, and I'm not, trying to even get you to plug my podcast. This is like networking, helping the process, keeping the Black dollar circulating in the Black community. That's what that section is for. That's what that section is about. Okay, then after that, I'm also running a contest, and it's called the Chew on This contest. Basically, I'm hosting the contest for all listeners, as I do not have a hotline yet, or I'm not doing any video feeds, so this is just something to, get listener participation. I've devised a topic that I would like all my listeners to participate in. And for participating in it, I will reward you. Because that, if you participate in this contest, it shows that you are a supporter of the podcast. So the fact that you entered the contest let me know, you're a narrator, you listen on a regular basis. That's what I call my people, that support my podcast, narrators, and I'll get into the meaning of the narrator in a second. My contest is called the Chew on This, and I call it the Chew on This because I'm going to give all participants a bulk supply of their favorite snack just by participating in the contest, answering or sending me, their version of the topic, and the topic is shopping while Black. So it's a shame that everybody Black all over the world, United States and abroad, has experienced that. It's a fact. It's a tragic, truth of life for Black people all over the world. We've all experienced it. And I want to, hear your story. And why am I doing the contest? Like I said already, for listener participation. And then also to keep the conversation going because, we don't have authentic Black neighborhoods anymore. It's not universal across the board yet. So, like, until we get our own, we need to get treated like human beings when we go out to patronize retailers, I know a lot of super woke people would be like, that's what you get for going and spending your money where you're not wanted. And then my rebuttal to that is you cannot, physically tell every single, Caucasian person is like racist or does not like black people. You can't tell that by looking at all of them. Some of them you can. Some of them you can just look at them and just know that they don't like black people. But there's a whole lot that can mask it very well, and you won't know until it's too late. But anyway, more about the contest. To enter the contest, it's that same email address that I just gave you for the free promotion. And how I'm separating both of them is by the subject bar. So for the Chew on This contest, what I would need you to do is type Chew on This / or dash Shopping While Black. You don't even have to type Shopping While Black. You can put SWB. And I know what it'll mean. And in the body of the email, so if you were still confused about the email address, once again, the address is passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the body of the email for the Chew on This contest, just share your Shopping While Black experience. Please do not try to exceed over, 6 paragraphs. I don't want to read a novel. I just want to know what happened. Like, give me a brief, summarize it. Summarize your Shopping While Black experience. And then also in that, include your mailing address so I know where to send the snack. And then, what type of snack do you want? Be specific as possible, you know what I mean? Like brand, flavor, etc. And I'll get that to you. Now, ideally, in my mind, how I want to do it is purchase your snack from a black-owned vendor. But in the unlikely event that I cannot find a black-owned vendor to purchase your snack from, I will most likely be getting it from Sam's Club or Costco. But it's just a thought that counts, so I am going to make the conscious effort to find a black-owned vendor to supply your snack. And so it's like completing a circle. You're supporting my podcast. I'm supporting the black-owned business. The black-owned business, hopefully, they're supporting the black community. So everybody gets something. All right. So then after the Chew on This segment, I would transition into highlighting black-owned businesses. And in that section, again, what it's for is to highlight and showcase, black entrepreneurialism and black excellence, people basically coming from the mud and starting a business. That's what I try to, those are the type of businesses that I try to share. So the qualifying criteria for my highlight section are it's black owned, of course. They hire their own. They do for the community. They do some type of philanthropy, some type of give back, whether they have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into another well-known nonprofit organization or sponsor, something in the neighborhood locally, a Pop Warner League or something like that. Just impact the community in a positive way. And also run their business. Another qualifying thing I try to look for is people that wasn't necessarily college educated. They didn't have a whole lot of knowledge. They just picked it up as they went and turned it into a multi-million-dollar brand. Or maybe they did go to college, but the business they started wasn't necessarily in their field of study. And they start the business because that's what they want to do. That's where their passion was. And then my last qualifying thing that I look for is like, you know, a personal theme. So my personal theme for the business highlight right now is, you know, summertime. So all the businesses that I'm currently highlighting, you know, that you would just think about like, the season of summer. Like you would need this in the summertime. So so in the highlight section, they're going to meet all of them, or at least at the very minimum, one of them. And then after the highlight section, I come to the spotlight section. And the spotlight section is basically where I'm spotlighting the accomplishments of a prominent black figure. It's usually in the entertainment industry, an actor, an actress, a director, a producer, a recording artist, an athlete, comedians, writers, producers, public figures, online public figures. Basically anybody black that's using their platform in a positive way to, you know, empower us and make us look good and make us, you know, hold us up in a positive light. You know, the black experience, black people, black culture. You know, people doing positive things, probably not, you know, necessarily getting their shine or getting their enough roses, I feel. That's like, you know, giving back, helping people. Or just, you know, conducting themselves in a certain way. And so not for nothing also, I have been saying it until somebody proves me wrong. I started the way for the spotlight, because before I started my spotlight section, literally nobody online was doing spotlights. Nobody. I'll wait. You tell me somebody who was, I'll wait. I ain't gonna wait long because you ain't gonna find it. But anyway, this is basically like the spotlight section is giving somebody black their roses while they're alive to smell them. So somebody once said, well, what about, you know, the drink champs? That's just relegated to the hip hop genre. I'm just talking about black people in general. Like I just named all the categories that I talked about, and he does it for like, his qualifying factor is like 10 years or longer. Mine is just like, period. If you're doing something positive, period. Okay, and then after the spotlight, here's where I, like before I got left off on last time, is the health and wellness section. And the reason I do the health and wellness section is to, you know, do my part in this trying time that we're living in to, you know, promote healthy, active, fit lifestyle by giving, you know, tips, because it's a complete package deal. You know, exercise, mindfulness, mindful breathing, just basically taking care of yourself so that your immune system does not weaken. Because if your immune system weakens and you go to the hospital for anything, they're going to say you got that thing. They're not even going to check for nothing else. They're going to say you got that thing, and then when they say you got that thing, then the symptoms will ensue. You see, because that's what I'm trying to get across. When the mind is at dis-ease, illness or disease takes place in the body. So that is what my section is all about, promoting a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. Because, like I said, they weaponize this media. They're constantly bombarding us with negative imagery, negative audio, and that wreaks havoc on your subconscious. And in the subconscious, that is where reality is born. So if I'm constantly bombarded with images and audio, you can't, you're less than, it will take root to some capacity in your body. So how do we combat that? We got to armor up. We got to, physical, mentally, and spiritually. That's what that segment's all about. The complete package deal. I give the tips. You can take and do your own due diligence, take and run with it, but just putting something positive in the atmosphere. That's what the health and wellness segment is about. And then next, after the health and wellness segment, would be my speaking segment. My speaking point segment. If I have something on the mind, or there is something in current news, a current hot button situation either happened directly in the Black community or in the entire world. But, if it's happening in the entire world, I give it to you from the Black perspective. How does this, affect us? Where do we fit into this little piece? So, yeah. And then my last segment is I close out with final thoughts and plug anything I got going on after the final thoughts. And then that's, the Narrative Podcast experience in a nutshell. But like I said, today is just I'm picking up where I left off last time, where I was getting all that distortion. And so yeah, this is just a super light bite. This is just added on to what I already did. Yeah. So diving right into it, I think I left off on the health and wellness tip. So the health and wellness tip of last week was the health benefits of maca roots. So maca root is a Peruvian plant indigenous to the Andes Mountains. So like over there is, Peruvian cooking. If you know anything about Peru, I think they also eat a lot of seafood as well. I cannot actually say I have had it in raw form. I haven't had the actual root itself. I've only had maca root powder. But just the powder works amazing for me. Mixing it in your smoothies and your juice. It's most definitely a superfood. It helps the male and female libido. So it's like, health benefits to keep you, everything, keeping the mojo joing. If you catch my drift, wink, wink, wink. Huh, fellas? Keeping the mojo joing? Wink, wink. Okay, so like I already said, it's good for libido, male and female. It has flavonoids, which helps improve your mood. So it's good to fight against, depression and anxiety. And it also fights free radicals. So free radicals, if you don't know, it's basically like an energy drainer. Free radicals is just as bad, or if not worse, as inflammation in the body. So you definitely want to do everything to prevent free radicals from forming. It's also rich in antioxidants, which means if you're trying to lose weight, it helps burn fat. That's what it's most noted for, is the antioxidant properties. In women, it helps reduce menopausal symptoms. So you can like brew it in a tea when you're, having a hot flash, going through the change, you know what I'm saying? And it also improves memory. Or after professional studies have shown it improves memory. But it's a very good roots. I guess it's a root. Are roots veggies? Well, yeah, there are veggie roots, like a carrot. Technically, a carrot's that's a whole different show. But anyway, that will conclude the health and wellness tip. That's about, like I said, where I left off the other day on Saturday was the health and wellness tip before it just started. I got all that feedback and distortion, and that's all you heard for like 20 minutes after the health and wellness tip was. They tried to say it was my microphone. It was not my microphone, but oh well. So my speaking point was, I think they was having the midterm elections. And so the discussion was, something that what they was trying to discuss was reparations. And like I said, I can't break it down like how I broke it down last time, because, I was just in the moment. I got to say I was real intuitive. I was real on fire last weekend. Like the energy was just there because I was like, basically I find it very insulting, like how they're proposing, reparations. They're trying to talk about putting together a committee to do studies and research on reparations, when we should definitely, like, the research part of it, that's already settled. We shouldn't even be at the research part of it. We should be at the signing the executive orders, passing it into the law. We should have been there like decades ago. Literally decades ago. Because talking about it and studying it, it's asinine at this point. And it's not something that should be up for debate. This is a debt America owes us. They've hit us with the triple whammy. Because not all of us descended from slavery. We are the original indigenous man. There's not one corner of the globe that we wasn't already inhabiting, including the Americas. We was already here, baby. But they lied to us and put us on plantations and called us black and used us basically for intellectual property, never intending to pay us, never intending to set us free. And then the ones they bought up for Africa, had it even worse. We was all still getting whippings, and like they was just doing some horrendous things to us. They was using our children for alligator bait. They was, mutilating our women, like taking the babies out of their stomach, their pregnant stomachs, killing the babies, butt breaking the men, just all kinds of stuff they was doing to us. That was just during slavery. Then it was like during the civil rights era, which was really civil rights / human rights, because they was treating us like animals still. They're going to turn around and like come up with these Jim Crow laws, free us, but didn't give us no way to financially sustain ourselves and make it a crime for being broke. So that's like, initially what jail was designed for. Jail was designed for us. The police was designed for us. The police force. The police force originated from the slave patrol. Like right quick, my non-black listeners, just listen to this little scenario. Excuse me, sir, can I see your license and registration, please? That's present day. Back then, hey boy, where's your papers? See the parallel there? And y'all got the audacity to try to put together a committee to discuss it when you know darn well you owe it to us. Like, black people should not be paying for anything right now. We shouldn't be paying for anything right now. So if you're black and you're currently on public assistance, keep your head held high, because they owe you that anyway. They owe you that anyway. That's the least they could do. And so black people, we got to stop dogging each other out about that too. Because some of y'all, y'all like 4 or 5 generations on the public assistance, and you was just one out of your family to make it, and now you all high sedity talking bad about people. Or trying to have your nose all up in the air like you didn't come from that. They pit us against one another with the money. Like, I remember it was in the schools, like, black kids, it was like the reduced lunch kids over here, and then the free lunch kids over there. And then if your mom and dad had a real good job, you was planning to hold the $1.50 for the little lunch. Or was it, $2.25? Yeah, I think reduced lunch was like $1.50 or $1.75. But anyway, like I said, they owed us that. Like, if they don't want to give us money, like, everything should just be free then. And the only thing only out-of-pocket expense we should be paying is like, cell phone, internet. Like, housing should be free. Food should be free. That's the only thing we should be able to pay for on our own is cost of living expenses. Like, if you got a vehicle, your gas in your own vehicle, you know what I'm saying? That should that should only be the only thing we're paying for. Public Transportation should be free as well for black people. Like if you got to catch the bus, the train, or the whatever, ferry boat, bus, train, whatever like city you live in, that should be free if you're black. If they don't want to give us the monthly check, I mean, because like I said, a whole lot of us are original indigenous native, but we don't get the tribal check. So college should be free. If you've already went to college, your college debt should be wiped out, because you can't say you don't have it. They just keep showing us they got it. They just gave the Ukraine like 13 million? When that thing first hit, they just got $1 trillion. You shouldn't even, how can you be broke off $1 trillion? How can you be in debt off $1 trillion? It don't make no sense. Well, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It's just like the system's not broke. It's doing what it's designed to do. They don't want us to have tangibles. Like I said in the previous statement, us having tangibles would mean they have to, sacrifice their way of life. And not all white people, but a whole lot of them, like being white is their cup of coffee in the morning. Because no matter how bad life's going for them, no matter how low they feel, they can say, I've even heard some white people say this, well, at least I'm not an N-word. And all of us having tangibles that would, just disrupt their way of life. Because they couldn't live in those gated communities anymore without a black neighbor anymore. They couldn't live in them cul-de-sacs without seeing like 8, 9 black people on the same block anymore. If we all had access to the wealth. It's not only profitable for Caucasians, it's profitable for the Asians, it's profitable for Middle Easterns, it's profitable for Eastern Europeans to come over here. It's even profitable for a lot of our own African brothers and sisters that come over here from Africa. And they be looking at us like, what they know is all up in the air. For us not to have tangibles. So that was basically my speaking point. The reparation is just, I don't believe it's going, I believe it's coming. I don't have, at this point, I don't have faith in legislation. But if you keep the conversation going, it gotta happen. It got to. But if we keep on saying, I always say on my platform, the power of words, if we keep on saying we're never going to get it, then we're never going to get it. But if we keep on, putting it in the atmosphere, you owe us, because that's the thing they're not getting. It's not a handout. It's not a handout. Really, if you want to keep it super real, public assistance is not a handout. So black people, stop saying you're up in that white man's office asking for a handout. That's not a handout. That's what they owe you anyway. They owe you that anyway. That's the least they can do. That's the least they can do. You feel me? So it ain't no handout. You owe us. Because what's your energy when somebody owes you money? You going to be like, hey, can I get that? Can I get that? Or you want to be more aggressive about your bread. I seen one of them like Instagrams or Vine stories or something a long time ago. Buddy was in the mall shopping with his girl. It was around tax season, and it was his own blood relative. He seen them. They was running up the tab at a Foot Locker. Buddy had like about 4 or 5 pairs of exclusive Nikes, like exclusive J-Bones. And then his girl had, some shoes stacked up. I don't know if his girl was buying him the shoes or he was buying the girls. The video didn't show that, but it showed his cousin pressing him about his bread. He went up into the Foot Locker because I guess he must have just been like months and months and months asking for his money. Man, buddy took all them Nikes off that counter. He's like, nah, bro, it's not happening. It's not happening today. Ain't none of this. He apologized to the girl because she didn't know what was going on, but she's like, nah, cuz you ain't not none of this. And then he was like, well, my shorty needs shoes. My shorty needs shoes. I've been blowing your phone up, da-da-da-da-da. And you've been just sidestepping me. You ain't trying to give me a little bit at a time. And now I catch you at the mall balling out. Nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. And like you could tell he wanted to rock him right in the store, but he didn't because A, he's his family, and he didn't want to, sock Cuzzo up. But my point is, like, they owe us the money. You see, they owe us. So the energy level needs to change. We need to change the narrative about reparations and get them to see it's a debt. Stops talking about the national debt and talk about our spiritual debt. This is like why America is in the state that it's in right now, because they refuse to make things right with black people. Honest and for true. Like any, baby boomer that's non-black will say in a heartbeat, this country is going to hell in the handbasket. Why is it going to hell in the handbasket? Because y'all won't make it right with black people. Y'all won't attempt to make it right. You don't even want to say, damn our bad. That's why we having mass shootings. You got thousands of years of blood on your hands in dealing with our people. Without us, there would be no America. You understand? They forced us to fight in the pivotal war that, defined America. It wouldn't be America. Like in the colonial war, they couldn't have won the colonial war without the slaves. They couldn't have won the Civil War without the slaves. Them down south boys was running us into the ground. The Confederates was running the Northerners into the ground. We promised we'll free you, so we got lied to twice. Couldn't have won WW1 without black people. Couldn't have won WW2 without black people. Couldn't have won Desert Storm without us. Y'all pay up. It's just funny to me how we are so compassionate and caring for everyone else, empathetic for everyone else's, all these little groups. We, put up on our timeline, support this, support that, but nobody ever supports talks of reparations. Not even our own brothers and sisters. Like, just because you don't live in America, you come over here, you like it over here, and when you come over here, you can use your platforms to talk about it. Hip hop. Like, music's for everybody. That's what that culture was invented for, is for everybody. But when it first began, there was hardly any, Caucasian MCs. It was just mostly like black and Latino, black and Spanish. I mean, some Spanish people identify as black, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. But yeah, we was graceful enough to let them in the house of hip hop. And so, we don't care about you being Caucasian. If you can do your thing, you get busy, you welcome. You family, right? But when we veer outside into other genres, we're not received well. Like case in point, country music. The hell that the Neville brothers had to go through, the hell Eddie James had to go through, Chuck Berry. And we was the ones that originated that genre of music. We started it and just gave it to y'all. Yes, black people started country western music. I know you don't want to hear it. You don't want to accept it, but we did. I mean, the term cowboy was originally for us. It was a derogatory term. And then just later it spiraled into, something masculine and macho, like the cowboy. But originally it was just a term to, denigrate black people on the ranch, to denigrate black ranch hands. They would call them cowboys. Go fetch them cows, boy. So what I want to start seeing, and what I hope I start seeing, is more Caucasian people. Not that we need y'all to fight our battles, but if you say you don't have a problem with black people and you want us to just be all, a part of the human experience and all get along, you will want to see us with our own neighborhoods. You will want to see us having our own tangibles. I mean, we are the biggest consumers, I say pretty much on the planet. So do you realize the impact that would have on the economy if we had our own neighborhoods again? All that money would go back into the community, into the, national treasury. If we're keeping it home, if we're making our own clothes, manufacturing our own clothes, instead of buying all them foreign labels and foreign cars. Keeping everything homegrown on U.S. soil, we the only group of people that don't actually authentically have their own neighborhood. We once did, but then we got segregation, and the only thing we wanted was just not to get lynched for veering off into, a white neighborhood, or wake up with crosses burning in our front yards. That's the only thing we wanted, segregation from. The only thing we wanted out of segregation. I mean, of course, people intermingle and interracial relations happen. And, it is what it is. You like who you like, you love who you love. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong is when you sit up there and use your position, your status in life to, oppress another person. And it's like everybody just, moves their checkerboard piece over the black checker in America. Everybody. I love it when foreigners say, well, my great-great-grandpa and whoever, they didn't speak a lick of English. They came over here on a raft, and they came over here and da-da-da-da-da. It wouldn't be a here to come over to if it wasn't for mine. So we need money for that. We need compensation. It's a debt. It's not a handout. And we just need to be universal across the board with it. Like I said, the genre of hip hop, all these white rappers and white R&B artists, like, yeah, y'all kind of owe a debt to say something. Like if black culture has influenced you or inspired you to be who you are, you owe a debt to say something. That's our plight. You need to use your platforms. White actors, actresses, y'all do y'all's little TikToks. Y'all can sit up there and talk about for the whales and PETA and all that bull, which y'all can't, use your platforms to talk up for us. And we've been here for forever. Like George Floyd, that was a moment. It was a moment that, forever changed the landscape of America, but that was a moment. You know how many George Floyds there was before George Floyd? It was Emmett Till before that. It was a Eric Garner. It was a Sean Bell. It was I can just go on and on and on and on. But nobody ever comes to bat for our plight. So my final word I want to say about the reparation, it is a debt. It's not a handout. I want that to resonate. I want that to sink in. It's a debt, not a handout. To all my non-black listeners, to all my non-black friends, associates, colleagues, reparations is a debt owed, not a handout. So just imagine how many white rappers, if they put that in their rhymes, like it's a debt owed, not a handout. How that'll resonate. How many Caucasian R&B singers and, whatever. Like if we put it out in the, in the universe, like it's a debt, not a handout. It's something owed to us. You ain't doing nothing for us. You giving me what you owe me. Straight like that. So the next section I did not get to do was my final thoughts. So in my final thoughts today, I just want to say, I've been saying it over and over and over again, and I'm going to keep saying it until I feel the need not to say it for final thoughts. Prepare. Get ready. Get ready for things to come. Get yourself ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. We're going to have another quarantine. All signs are pointing to it. The exact same pattern as last time when we had all this inflation. We had all these random streams of V words. Things was going on with the vegetation. Things was going on in the animal kingdom. All those signs is pointing to that. Then also we're going to have another uprising. It's literally, we got one more straw before it's the last straw, before, the camel's back breaks. We're going to have another one of those. And then this time it's, hey, If you thought it was bad last time, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I'm not trying to spread gloom and doom. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to deliver the truth. Hey, get ready. Keep your water supply at plentiful. Keep your your non-perishables at plentiful. Learn some agriculture. Learn how to grow some stuff. Get you alternate means to get you a higher ground plan. Get you a passport on deck. Physically, keep yourself in good cardiovascular shape, because it's going to come a moment where you're going to have to walk or run a really far distance pretty soon. And that's for real. I mean, like, all the signs is right there pointing to it. Like, even Stephen Wonder can see it. All this violence happening, and it's not even officially, summertime hasn't really even officially peaked yet. So yeah, get ready. That's my final thought. Get ready and stay ready. Leaving on up out of here, I just want to say support the podcast. Download this episode of the Narrative Podcast, as well as all previously uploaded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Also, please support my poetry blog. It's pretty much a collection of all my poetry. I write poems pretty much every single day. It's nearly a daily poem every single day. Some days I miss. The days I miss, it's like I start typing it like a quarter to midnight. Like, say today's Monday, right? If I start typing it at like a quarter to midnight and it doesn't get finished, and I don't finish it till like midnight, then it's no longer the Monday poem, because it's now Tuesday. So, and then that meant I wouldn't post one at all, because I write them in the moment. So, this is like fresh out of my mind, right onto the screen. They're really good, very profound, very impactful. Do yourself a favor, please support my poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. And my tagline is poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. Every single week, or every other day, I'm posting one. So always check that blog out to support it. The best way to support it is when you see a poem, post it to all your platforms. Post it on Facebook, post it on Twitter, Instagram, whatever your favorite platform is. Post a poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner. Go to www.mrhalseysblogs.com. Post that to all your social media. Follow Halsey's Poetry Corner at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. We'll go to it and just hit the like button. And like I said, for the Narrative Podcast, download and like all episodes of the Narrative Podcast and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. So that 100th episode is winking at me. I've been doing this for a year now. So, trust me when I'm telling you, I'm getting the momentum. I'm popping up a lot more in feeds. So, I'm coming. So I got a whole lot of stuff in motion. I will tell you and keep you up on all my other projects as they're completed. So just continue to support the Narrative Podcast. Support Halsey's Poetry Corner. Peace and love. Catch you this week for sure. And every weekend, a full episode of the Narrative Podcast, guaranteed. Then also, I also do weekdays. My random lives, I go live randomly during the weekday. I don't know when. That's why they're called random lives. And basically what I do is deliver, positive articles that I come across and deliver commentary on anything going on in the world. And, try to keep it short, try to keep it brief, try to keep all my episodes short and brief to the point. I don't like exceeding an hour because after you talk for an hour with no speaking points, it's just a rant. And I definitely do not want to rant. I want my content to resonate with you. And, yeah. Also, I guess before I get out of here, I'll break it down I said I was going to break it down what a narrator is. So I call my listeners narrators because we all have the power to change the narrative. And my overall goal is to, impress upon the importance of sharing positive content. Like you're full-grown adults, you can post whatever you like on your platform. I'm not telling you what to post. Like you can post whatever you want, but just know when you post, it's people outside of Black culture that's looking at that. So it's like, I'm Black, I understand the nuances within our culture, but other people do not. And it turns into are they laughing with us or are they laughing at us type thing. So we definitely want to, post positive things, post things that show us in a positive light, impacting our community, empowering our community, impacting our youth, empowering our youth, and, just spreading positivity and growth and love and, harmony, basically. Just promoting the opposite of what they show us all the time. So, we got the power to change the narrative. So I change the narrative one episode at a time. And as a narrator, you have the power to change the narrative one social media post at a time. Does that make sense? Hope it does. All right, y'all. So this went way longer than what I intended because I just wanted to, upload a section that I didn't get to last week because I had all that distortion and feedback, that technical difficulty. But hey, it's getting better. Each episode's getting better. My content's getting better. My platform is growing. My listeners are growing. So I'm here. I'm knocking. Thanks for all the support. Catch you next time. Narrative Podcast. Halsey Allen signing off. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day.
Set your place on fire. You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.